fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, slip. Word upon your lip, lip. Rather that you rip, rip. Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes. Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes. Cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes. Yeah, take me to the top. I'm ready for whatever it takes. Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes. That I feel being typical. Looking at my body feeling miserable.
There's some secrets in there. I talk about not just the deep state, but the communist creep into America, how the Democrat Party has been taken over, and how we're fighting a World War Z right now, which I call it because it's once the bioweapon hit us in 2019 to 2020, we had a rigged election. We've had irregular warfare thrust upon us in America with 18,000 terrorists led into this country. 18,000, you believe that? Is that unbelievable, Max? Oh. And some reports are up to 50 million illegals. 20 during the last 4 years, but 50 total. And 50 million illegals in this country that are legally here. So ICE has got their hands tied with this, and Biden, Obama judges are all against Trump. They're all for the illegals because that's their bread and butter. That's how they get their votes. They cheat on those elections using illegals. So mail-in fraud, a little bit of everything. So right now Trump is creating Fortress America. That's what you see in the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, now Gulf of America. He's stopping all the coke boats, blowing them up. There's a couple Iranian billion-dollar oil tankers seized, one in the Gulf of India, and the other one just recently coming from Cuba in the Gulf of America. So we're seeing this. We have sleeper cells in this country, and there's a lot of going back and forth. The Ukrainian war has been going on for 4 years now. They're reaching the end. They're taking out all their electrical power. Then you got the Middle Eastern war. Why it's cold, not much activity, but Israel, Bibi's out there mowing the lawn again. He's mowing the lawn, isn't he, Doug? Right, Max? What's mowing the lawn? You know what mowing the lawn is. It's killing Muslims. So he's attacking Syria. So I got some clips from South Front Telegram and a couple clips from World War Z. And I think right now it's the BRICS nations, the commie nations, the commie-crats versus the free republic, the Republicans, and the capitalist free market society, which the West represents. But we have a problem with Europe right now. They're threatening to sell all our treasuries, and Europe's playing a game trying to drag us into war with Russia, and Trump's not having that. So we're really close to a major world war kicking off. I think we're at the beginning stages of it. So keep an eye on the Middle East. That's where everything will kick off. And I don't think it'll happen until the spring, but a lot can happen in between now and the spring in Ukraine. And there's rumors of a dirty bomb that Ukraine's cooking up. So who knows what's going to happen. Maybe they could do a false flag in New York with Mandami the commie. But I found out Mandami's from South Africa. Isn't it right, Max? Yeah, South Africa. What do you think about that? The Communist, the Green-Red Alliance. That's the Shiite Muslims and the Communists working together. That's the Green-Red Alliance. That's Mandami. Isn't that right? Go. All right.
Despite being forced to retreat on all fronts, the Ukrainian army is attempting to launch counterattacks. As of December 12th, the northern section of the front line was one of the most active areas. Having taken Volchansk, the Russian army has not slowed down its offensive. On December 11th, Ukrainian troops were finally driven out of the village of Lyman, southwest of the city. In addition, Prilipka to the west has fallen under Russian control. Currently, Kupiansk is the most difficult section of the front. A few days ago, the Ukrainians launched a local offensive here with the aim of regaining control of the city. A large number of Ukrainian army reserves have been concentrated here, including the newly formed 475th Assault Regiment, which consists mainly of former prisoners. The defense of Seversk was breached on December 12th. Russian troops are finishing off the northern and northwestern areas of the city. It is reported that remnants of the Ukrainian army will continue to hold local positions on the western outskirts. Overall, Russian troops now control the entire city. The city's rapid fall is an extremely serious development for the Ukrainian command. This is the first operational crisis to arise from the transfer of all possible reserves to the south. Russian troops are increasing pressure on the front line in the area of the former Dobropolsky salient. On December 11th, control of the village of Shakhov was restored. A few weeks earlier, additional Ukrainian units had been sent to this settlement. In Mirnograd, Russian troops are continuing to put pressure on the Ukrainian army garrison. Following successful assault operations, Russian units have broken through to Darko Street. Consequently, the southeastern part of the city has fallen under their control. A few days earlier, Ukrainian troops were driven out of the areas to the south of Mirnograd. Building on this success, Russian troops entered the southern suburbs and occupied the area around Vishnevaya Street. In Guliapol, the situation for Ukrainian troops is deteriorating day by day. After successfully crossing the Gaicha River, Russian assault units took up positions around Velika Street. Consequently, the entire eastern part of the city was under threat. Russian units can advance westward from this part of Guliapol, bypassing the city's main line of fortifications, the Gaicha River. Despite the importance of events in Guliapol, the situation around Kupiansk is equally critical. The Ukrainian command has deployed all available reserves to the area in an attempt to retake the city. If they fail, a major operational crisis could arise across the entire northern section of the front.
Israel is once again escalating against Syria and challenging the country's new Islamist-led rulers who are moving closer to the United States. The first sign of escalation came on November 21st, when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the Security Cabinet that Syria's President Ahmed el-Sharaa has been acting irrationally ever since returning from his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump a week earlier. More escalation came on November 26th with a report from Israel's Kan public broadcaster, revealing that Defense Minister Israel Katz had warned the Knesset Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee of activities by the Yemeni Houthis in Syria. Kan also reported that the Palestinian Islamic Jihad has been working to expand its military presence in the country. All of this escalation materialized on November 28th, when troops from the Israeli Defense Forces came under attack while conducting an operation in the town of Beit Jin in the governorate of Rif Damashq in southern Syria to detain members of El-Jamaah el-Islamiyah. Just like Ansar Allah and the PIJ, the group enjoys close ties with Lebanon's Hezbollah. 6 Israeli troops were wounded, including 2 seriously, as a result of the attack in Beit Jin. On the other side, IDF strikes killed at least 20 Syrians, including children. The strikes allowed the Israeli troops to withdraw with 3 detained suspects. The very next day, Israel's Channel 13 said that the IDF suspects that Syrian intelligence was involved in the attack and could respond by expanding operations, especially drone strikes in southern Syria. On December 1st, Trump voiced his support for Syria, calling on Israel to maintain a strong and true dialogue with the country, and warning that nothing takes place that will interfere with Syria's evolution into a prosperous state. A day after the warning, the Syrian Minister of Interior announced the seizure of a large shipment of landmines near the town of Yabrud in Rif Damashq that was bound for Hezbollah. The seizure was likely an attempt to appease Israel. The attempt failed, however, as on December 3rd the IDF began conducting drone strikes in southern Syria. At least 3 strikes targeted Bat el-Ward Hill and the road leading to it close to the town of Beit Jin. No casualties were reported. Syria clearly hopes that its evolving relations with the U.S. could deter Israel. However, recent developments show that while Washington is willing to speak in support of Syria on this matter, it is not willing at all to actually pressure Israel. Israel continues to escalate against Syria as the two sides move further away from a security agreement and closer towards a conflict. December 9th witnessed another episode of escalation, with Israeli troops storming the town of Khan Arnabe in the southern governorate of Kenitra and clashing with the locals. The troops set up checkpoints all around Khan Arnabe, restricting movement from and to the town. When a group of locals gathered near one of the checkpoints to protest, the Israelis opened fire. Syrian state TV said that 3 people were wounded as a result. Later, the Israeli military said the troops opened fire at suspects. Earlier on the same day, Amichai Chikli, Israel's Minister of Diaspora and combating anti-Semitism, said that war with Syria was inevitable. He was commenting on a video showing Syrian troops chanting for the Gaza Strip while marching in Damascus a day earlier to celebrate the first anniversary of the fall of the Assad regime. In a separate incident from December 9th, a salvo of 3 rockets targeted Meza Air Base right next to Damascus, where United States troops could soon be deployed to oversee any security agreement between Syria and Israel. An agreement seems unlikely, however. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said on December 10th that the two sides are today further from reaching a security agreement than before, after Damascus raised new demands. The demands Sa'ar referred to are likely a complete Israeli withdrawal from the territories occupied in southern Syria after the fall of the Assad regime last year. Israel has so far refused to withdraw or to stop operations there. On December 10th, its troops arrested 2 people in separate raids, one from the town of El Adada in the governorate of Daraa and another from the town of El Mashida in Kenitra. Despite the escalation with Israel, Syria continues to develop its ties with the U.S. Later on December 10th, the House of Representatives voted forward a bill that would end the restrictive Caesar Act sanctions on the country that were originally imposed during the rule of the Assad regime. The latest Israeli escalation against Syria may be, in fact, a direct result of growing relations between Damascus and Washington. Israel likely views a U.S. partnership with Syria as a threat to its military's freedom of action in the Middle East. A security agreement with Damascus would allow Washington to invest even more in the relations with the war-torn country. Thus, Israel will not likely move forward with such an agreement now. Israel may, however, attempt to instigate some crisis between Washington and Damascus.
War.